Hi folks, so the question we have in front of us here today is a transformation geometry question. It's from the Understanding Technical Graphics textbook, page 270, and it will be aimed at junior cert higher level students. So the object here in front of us, guys, we're given it here, and we're given the line QR and the line ST, and what we have to do is we have to do various transformation geometries. Okay, we have to do an axial symmetry in the line QR. We have to do a central symmetry once we do the axial through the point S. Then we have to do a translation along the line ST. And the final one then is we want to rotate the object about point S through an angle clockwise of 60 degrees. Okay. So we'll start off with the first one, guys, and we're going to do an axial symmetry of this object along, or sorry, not along the line QR, but across the axis QR. So basically what we're doing is we're taking this object and we're flipping it perpendicular to the line QR over here like this. Okay, that's all we're doing. So a little bit of set squares work here. So I'm going to set up along my line QR there. I should do it this way, a little bit easier. So as you can see there, I've set up on my line QR. Now I'm going to rotate various points. I'm going to take the center point of the circle, and I'm going to take these 4 points down here. Start with this one actually. Then this one. And then this one is probably the furthest away. Okay. And what I should have actually done at the very start there, guys, is probably label it. So there's about 5 points in this object, so I'm going to label it. I'm going to say this is A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to find those points under axial symmetry. I'm just going to extend up my line there, QR, just a little bit further. Okay, and now what we have to do, guys, is we need to find those points, okay, across the axis, QR. So what you do is you take your distance from Q, or the line QR, to the various points. So I'm going to take the distance from the axis to A, just that distance there, and mark it out here. That would be A1. Now I'm going to do B, that would be B1. Now I'm going to do C, just the center. As you can see there, I'm going to have to extend out my line there a bit. Probably have to do the same with D in a second. There's D. And then finally E. So I'll have to extend out my line in a couple of them. Just make sure I get the right distance. Okay. So as you can see there, I'm just going to have to extend out some of my lines. Just a little bit of sliding set squares. Could have just extended out, but I'm trying to make it as accurate as possible. There we go. So I have now found my various points, guys. Okay, I have found the point A, which would become A1. I have found the point B, which is going to become B1. And as you can see, we're going C1, D1 to E1. Okay. Now what I would usually do at this point, guys, is I would connect up. I know the line A to E, okay, is a straight line across, and then A to B is perpendicular to that. So what I would often do now here is, just to keep it as accurate as possible, I would try and make it, so you'll see here what I'm doing. I'll join the line A to E, like that, and I know the line A to B is perpendicular to that. So I'm going to rotate it around until it is perpendicular, okay? I have to pull that down there a little bit, the visualizer's getting in the way. About there, and I know it's perpendicular, and I'm going to draw on that line perpendicular, so I'm quite happy with that and how that turned out. And I know then at this point I can slide this one up as well, so if the visualizer wasn't in the way, this would be a little bit easier, but there we go. So I'm quite happy with the accuracy of my points so far. This is all just about keeping it accurate, because as we work along, sometimes our accuracy can go out in these questions. So there's C, there, and now I have a circle, radius 15. So just switch out to dark. Take the radius from back here. It's the exact same radius. There's my radius 15. And draw it in. There we go. Okay, so that's the radius 15 done, and now just heavy in the last two lines here. Connect to the center. Heavy line there. Heavy line there. So there is our axial symmetry done, guys. So as you can see, I've basically taken the image and flipped it over the line QR. Now the next one we have to do is a central symmetry through the point S. Okay, so starting off with that, I'm going to connect up A again, down through S, E through S. I'm trying to extend out the lines what I think will be the distance, okay, roughly the distance. Okay, exact same with D, same with B, and then the same with C. Okay, and once again, take your distances. This time everything, unlike the last question where we took it from various points along the line QR, everything is going to go through S this time. So take distance to A, and sometimes you can get a little bit confused on which line you've done, but just keep a guide, you can kind of follow it. If you have to, line it up with it again and put it through S just to make sure you got the right line. So I know that's A there. I'll go to B then, it's the next line beside it. Go up to C, same to D, and then to E. And there we go. So once again, I'm going to use labels. These will now become A2 and so on. Okay, and I'm going to use kind of the same policy or the same principle here, where I'm going to connect them up and try and make sure that they're perpendicular, my final result, the line AE and then the line AB. So I'll move it over here so I have plenty of room. So there's the line AE. I'm going to connect that up and we'll see what my accuracy is like. Hopefully it's not too bad. And yeah, it's not coming in too bad now. I'm happy with that as well. Okay, and it'll be the same then for E and D. There we go. We know this connects up here, and then obviously we have to draw in our circle that has a radius of 15 once again. So just switch out my pen there. Okay, so I'll take the radius again once again from the start. Make sure that's accurate. There we go. And from C, draw in my circle. Okay, and at that point then, connect up these guys here. Okay, so there we go. Now at this point what we have done is we have so far basically taken this object and we are going to, and we have done a central symmetry from this object here through the point S, and we have got the object down here. Now the next one is we have to do a translation along the line ST. Okay, so when we're doing a translation, guys, all we're doing is, it's like I say to the students in class, we're going to take the line ST and it's like we're going to move the object along the same distance as ST in the same direction, so it's going to be parallel to it. So it's like moving just from a distance along the train tracks. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will get the distance for ST on our compass. So I'll mark all those distances then with my compass. So I'll take that distance for ST, I'll have that set on my compass, like that, leave that there, and now a little bit of sliding set squares from all the points parallel to the line ST. And luckily enough, actually, if I go back, I know the distance for ST was over 50, down 50, so it's actually working out at 45 degrees. It's like the diagonal in a square. So I can literally just come down, you'll see there, 45 degrees, diagonal in a square. So I'll transfer the distances down. Okay, there we go. And now with that distance s to t there, I'm going to mark that for each of the individual points. So from A2, I'll find A3. From B2, I'll find B3. C2 to C3. E2 to E3. D2 to D3. Okay, so labeling all those points. I'm going to pull this down here a little bit. You'll see now in a second my drawing is going to go off the page here, guys, but I don't mind that. Just draw it onto the board here. Okay. If that ever happens in exam, guys, what you can do is you can just get another piece of paper, stick it on underneath it if you have to. Okay. So A3, B3, C3, D3, and E3. Okay. Same thing again. Going to line them up. Just make sure everything is perpendicular. So I know A3 connects to E3. Like that. And I know, there we go. So that does connect up there. Happy with that. Happy with that. And then connect these guys up here. Now, as I said, at this point you could, if you wanted, grab another piece of paper, okay, and stick it on underneath. For the sake of it, guys, I'm just going to move on there. I'll still sketch it in, don't mind if it goes onto my board. So I'll take the radius of 15. All that means, guys, is when I started the question, I probably should have started this and planned out where it was going. Should have gone up a little bit higher. Okay, so there's the 15. Oh, make sure I don't slip off. And if that happens in exam, the examiner, guys, at the end of the day, he's still just looking for the correct methods. Okay, that's where you get most of the marks. There is marks at the end, obviously, for presentation and neatness, but you'd only lose out on a few if something like this happened. Okay, and you can add that on. And as you can see now, axial symmetry done here, central symmetry in the point S, and now we have done a translation where we've basically taken this object and just moved him down parallel to the line ST. Now the very, very last one, guys, and this is probably the trickiest one, is we want to rotate this object now, okay, A3, B3, all the way around to E3. We want to rotate it about the point S clockwise at an angle of 60 degrees. So we're basically taking this object as it moves like a clock and we're moving it 60 degrees, kind of like that, about the point S. Okay, so for this one, guys, it's probably the one that students find the hardest. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to do A as an example to start off with. Okay, and I'm going to put it in green. Okay, so I'm going to join S to A3 like that. Okay, and I'll even do the rotation in green as well, actually. Okay, so what I'll do then is S to A3, I'll rotate that because that's the part it's going to take, something like that. And now what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to just very quickly extend on my line, depending on the protractor that you have, guys, because you're going to have to use a protractor here. I'm going to extend on my line just so I have a little guide up here to use. I'm going to grab my protractor, put my protractor on S, make sure my zeros are lining up on both sides. And they are. Happy with that. Then follow it around to 60 degrees. There's my 60 there. So I kind of had a good guess of the angle. And what I can do then is connect up that line, and the angle I have actually created from this green line to this green line, we know is 60 degrees. But basically all I have done is I have rotated A3 until it's in its correct position now, as it's been rotated clockwise until it is in A4. Okay, and you have to repeat that process then, obviously, for every other one of them. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do now, and I'm going to switch back to my red, and I'm going to do B3. It's going to be close enough to it. I'm going to do E3. Just have these ready. I know it's going to be somewhere in shorter, so it's going to be in somewhere here. Same with D3. It's going to be shorter as well, and something like that. And then finally C3. It's just easier having them done. Okay, it's going to be something like that. Have those rotation ones done. So if I was to find B3, connect the line up, extend it out if I have to. Okay, and then same thing. So line it up, make sure the zeros are on the lines you want. Make sure it's on S. Yep, happy with that. So 60 degrees once again. See here, it's just a little bit lower than the other one. And pretty sure it's out to there. And as you can see, this time I haven't done the line the full way. I'm just keeping it neat and tidy. So there's our B4. Okay. And now I'm going to do the same for E. Okay. So at this point here, connect it up. That one's connected up already. That one's actually coming from Axial Symmetry line, so that worked out quite nice. So mark it onto it. There we go, 60 degrees once again. There's my mark. From there out through the line, this is the E one, so just make sure you're getting the right arc. And there's my mark. There is E4. And at this point now, I can actually save myself a bit of time. I'm going to use the principle I did earlier, where the lines are perpendicular. Because I know A4 joins across to E4 in the straight line. And then I know A4 to B4 is perpendicular. So my accuracy is actually not too bad in this question. And then, to be able to find D4, or above E4, I know it's perpendicular as well. So just make sure I'm getting onto the right arc. The point will be there. Saves me a bit of time. Okay. And the last one then I have to find is C. Okay, which is going to be C4. So connect that up. I'll do it in green once again. Just make my mark out there. So you can see it's finally been done once again. And then on the S, there we go. So 60 degrees once again. Mark it out there. And then I'm going to do the line out fully again this time. Actually, I'll keep it neat and tidy. Just keep it like that. There's my point. That is going to be my C4. Okay. And at this point there, I know that one connects up to there. There. Okay. Label this one. This was D4. Okay. And then finally, last part of this question. Okay. Take the radius. I'm going to go back to the start. Get the radius 15. Don't have to go back to start. Go to this one. Just the starting one was the one I measured accurately. And then draw in our circle. And finally, finish the question. So, D4 connects up to C4. Like that. Up to B4. And there we go. That is the question done there, guys, where we did an axial symmetry across the line QR. We did a central symmetry from this point here through S, okay, down to here. Translation along the line ST from here to here. And then we rotated about the point S 60 degrees. So the object literally went clockwise 60 degrees like that. Okay. Hope you found that understandable, guys. Have a go at that, and we will move on to another question the next day. Okay.